All right, welcome back to another edition of Celtics Roundtable here on the Boston Celtics News Feed. Matt Ingram, Samshian, Jared Weiss here once again. We're talking preseason, and we'll kind of see where it goes. It hasn't been that great. Brad Stevens himself said the Celtics are not as good as advertised in his comments about the Celtics' lackluster play so far. Jared, you're the analyst here. What have you noticed? What have you noticed from the Celtics starting unit through 3 games?
Mostly I've just noticed that I couldn't be any less unimpressed, honestly, or any more unimpressed. I couldn't be unimpressed at all. And the big thing is just that there's no real continuity or synergy on the offensive end. I feel like they're just trying to figure out 2-man action every single time. Hayward is playing very passively right now, which is pretty much what you expect. And I think that'll probably trend to change over the course of the first month or two. That's something that I think anybody should have reasonably expected. And they're missing a ton of open shots. Kyrie looked pretty damn good in those first 2 games. And it kind of seemed like he was offensively on a bit of an island there. They just look out of sync. I don't think there's a ton to it besides that. They're running like pretty simple plays right now. It seems like they're probably kind of scratching out a lot of the playbook from last year and trying to keep it fresh, which you have to do, right? If you played all the way until almost June, it's like there's so much tape on you that you kind of have to start over the playbook and then slowly bring stuff back from last year. So I think they're going through that process now, and it's probably just going to take a while, really.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like it just looks like the starters don't really care, and I don't know how concerning that is. Like, in the preseason, it's just like, that is kind of what the preseason is for, is to kind of mess around. They kind of look like the Warriors do when the Warriors mail it in. The difference is that, the Celtics can't hit threes. So that ends up being a big problem. But, when it came right down to it, the Celtics have kind of clawed their way back into these games. And I think that's more of a testament to their outrageous depth. Like their second unit, you can take their second unit and make a team of starters that wouldn't finish last in the NBA. They're really good players in the second unit. They've at least played with a little bit of effort, which I don't think the starters have kind of checked out of. But it's tough to, see what there is to, kind of take away from this outside of, what's going on with the deep bench and the guys we're probably not going to see it all during this year, and, how Gordon Hayward looks. And the answer to those is, probably not great and probably pretty good, for, the former and the latter respectively.
Yeah, I'm seeing the same thing. I got a question for you, Jared. The Celtics starting unit, you wouldn't say that there's too many elite passers on this team. I'm not saying that we're expecting the 2014 Spurs, but is ball movement going to really be a hallmark of the Celtics starting unit, do you think?
I mean, if you look at that Spurs team, I don't know if they necessarily had a lot of elite passers. I mean, Manu and I guess Duncan are the only 2 guys I would think of as transcendent passers for their position. But it's all about just the kind of the repetition of working the system and knowing where people are, because that team, what was so great about that Spurs team is that they were just really good at throwing passes around the horn, or also just throwing different direction passes that would really misdirect the defense. So that this team is, I think, actually going to be really similar to that 2013 Spurs team as far as by design. I mean, that team is one of the best teams of all time, so it's a high standard. But they have to make it more confusing for the defense than just they can do a driving kick and swing it around and hope that the defense sunk too far in that they can't recover to the weak side. They need to be able to zigzag the ball different directions so that it's not predictable. And right now, I think they're just really predictable, and that's something that's just going to have to improve over time.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like that the Celtics kind of, what I'm seeing a lot of, I mean, I guess it's not shocking to not see them pass. It is the preseason. Everybody's kind of getting out there for the first time. Everybody's trying to get their touches. It is encouraging to see everyone does seem to be, besides Jason Tatum, there does seem to be an emphasis on paint touches, which I think has kind of been a hallmark of Brad Stevens' systems in the past, where you wanted to at least hit the paint once and collapse the defense. I think Jaylen Brown's done, with mixed results, done a pretty good job of that. We saw Kyrie Irving do a little bit of that. I think Al Horford is gonna be kind of the glue that holds everything together going forward. But I feel like it's so hard to take anything meaningful away from this, this preseason basketball. we're probably not going to know too much about this team until 2 weeks into the season.
Final thoughts as we wrap up, guys. Any more thoughts about this preseason? Will the Celtics flip the switch, turn it on, start playing with more effort?
No.
21 and what's the math on that? 61. There we go. Nailed it. I'm an adult.
All right, well then we could definitely
61.
be talking about 3 top 15 picks.
Exactly. This is what it is. Tank. This is the Spurs rebuild. Everyone's going to be hurt. I know that the Celtics, made the Eastern Conference Finals, but this year the hospital Celtics. Now we have the morgue Celtics, where everybody is hurt. The full David Robinson year. Really get loaded.
It's Sam Sheehan, everybody. You also heard from Jared Weiss. I'm Matt Ignall. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Celtics Roundtable here on the Boston Celtics news feed. We'll see you next time.